So this is the premium rank 8 aircraft that the Russians got, the SU-30MK2, right? And I'm gonna try to help you a little bit, especially if you are a new player to Russian aircraft, to premium aircraft like this, etc., right? To help you actually have a good time with this thing, okay? So this is the premium that you should buy with the Russians. It is extremely expensive, but it is the best premium they have, okay? And we're gonna talk a little bit about it. So we're gonna fly in a couple of matches, but before we actually go there, I really wanted to show some things about this air vehicle, okay? First thing is, what loadout should you use? So this is the loadout that I would use in a normal air combat scenario and an air battle, okay? I would use 4 R-73s. They're the normal R-73, so it's just, a must, of course. I would always take 2 R-27ETs, some people don't like to use them, but overall, guys, one of the best IR missiles you have in the game. It's a long-range IR missile, basically, right? And then the middle racks over here, I would normally use R-77s. Can you use the R-27ERs? Yes, but honestly, guys, in these BRs, not the greatest thing ever, okay? One thing that you have to notice is that, different from the SU-27SM, you don't have the double pylons, so you kind of are obliged to use normal R-77s. Also, in these inner, in between middle wing pylons over here, you only can take air-to-ground stuff, as you can see. So I would normally in an air battle just not use it, okay? So this is what I normally would use in an air battle. So let's get to an air battle first, and then we can talk about air-to-ground, because I do know a lot of people will use this thing in air-to-ground to start to grind aircraft in Russia with this thing in ground battles as well. So we're gonna have kind of a secondary part of this video like that, okay? So let's get to a battle before. Every single other loadout I would just try to stay away from, but yeah. So what about the SU-30 in an air battle, right? What should you do, guys? Well, honestly, the majority of the players, maybe you should fly low. But I personally love to fly high, it doesn't matter the aircraft that you are fighting against, right? So, and with. So, in my opinion, still a better option to just try to do BVR, to try to get some kills. Is it really possible? Well, I don't know. The R-77 is one of the worst missiles to do this, but it can be done, okay? The aircraft has a lot of potential, and it has a lot of performance. It is going to lose to a lot of aircraft, but it's not a slow aircraft. It's not that heavy that you cannot do stuff. But as you can see, 40 plus kilometers shots, with an R-77, probably wouldn't be the best thing ever to just fire. So I would try to get into a range over here that maybe the missile has a chance. I'm gonna fire at 30 kilometers over here. Probably gonna miss. It's kind of a Hail Mary shot. And we're gonna turn. So the strategy itself is going to be very similar to the strategies that I normally use with other high-tier vehicles like this. As you can see, it's an F-14, so it's going to be kind of annoying to try to go head-to-head with it in the BVR, because it will have Phoenixes, or if it's an Iranian one, it's going to be one of those very fast missiles that you don't have a lot of chance of avoiding if you don't really try it, right? So you gotta be careful, but you can do it, you can try to do it. Again, it's my playstyle. Probably you shouldn't do that like I'm doing here, okay? At least you are basically making sure that the enemy is on a defensive, so there is that. I have another target here. That is a missile, I think. So we're gonna fire a couple of missiles there. We're going to turn because I'm pretty sure there is a missile coming towards me. And yeah, then I'm going to crank. I'm going to turn. I'm not going to waste too much time going to the target, because you've got to be careful. These missiles, they can do very well, but it's not the greatest thing ever. And you're going to probably miss a lot of these missiles. So that's why I would probably advise you guys to get lower altitudes and try to get lower ranges when you are shooting the R-77, okay? Especially if you are new to this type of gameplay, okay? to higher tiers over here. As you see, they were shooting at me, but they evaded as well. They went cold, basically. So there's a target right there. There's 2 targets there. Try to get this target. I'm gonna climb a little bit. Up. So this is a target, and you will try to get targets of opportunity, not flying very low, not flying very high. And this is probably a kill, right? Yeah. Now we turn off the radar, and we're gonna try to get some kills that are not really paying attention, like this one with the R-27 ETs, right? An amazing missile that you can always get a lot of kills with. Now there is a target behind us. We're gonna just try to run. There's a missile maybe coming up. Oh my god. That was close. That was really close. So we're gonna try to do a dogfight maybe. I don't know. Controlling the speed, controlling the speed. Oh. There we go. SU-33s can be very deadly. So you do need to be careful. That was a bad shot, I think. I mean, he was already dead when the missile was in the air, but yeah, there you go. And it's just a normal SU-27, guys. Is it heavier? Maybe, but it doesn't change a lot, right? You are still flying the same way that you normally like to fly. That's why I probably would still fly high with this thing in the early stages of the matches. Afterwards, of course, you gotta stay low. As you saw, I kind of wasted my R-77, so you gotta be careful with the amount of missiles you fire at the early stages of the matches, because although if you never flew a flanker and you see like, oh, you have like 10 missiles, it feels like a lot, but honestly, it is not. If you're not careful, we're gonna waste these missiles very, very quickly. And yeah, there we go. So it's a very normal flanker to fly. It feels exactly like a normal SU-27. So my opinion, fly high. These things like to fly high at the early stages, then fly low after you shot some BVR missiles. You can use the R-27ER, but I would advise to just use the R-77, okay? Just kind of use it as a support aircraft, especially when you see upper tiers on your match, okay? What about ground battles, guys? Is this thing able to do some ground battle stuff? Because maybe you will use this thing as an air-to-ground platform. Because a lot of players will maybe get this thing because they already have the tanks of the Soviet Union over here, and they want an aircraft to play with ground battles to see what you can do. So we're going to do that now. It has a 12.3 BR. And one thing that I have to show before we get to the match, which is pretty insane, is that this thing has a very similar system. It doesn't have like a proper pod. It kind of uses the HUD. And it does have like a kind of a similar system to the older SU. So basically you have this camera if you use the KH-29Ls, okay? And with this, you don't have thermals, you don't have anything. And then you're just gonna, shoot the missile and it will go to the target. So normally I would use TV guided stuff, but you can use a laser one with this HUD kind of camera, which is pretty insane in my opinion. So yeah, very interesting. See the missile there? Okay. So let's go to a match, but I normally would use some loadout like this. An R-77, then 4 R-73s, and then you have a choice. You can use the KH-59 or the KH-29. And then a Cobb 1500 in the middle there. They are both basically using the same seeker right now, okay? So it can have like a 7-10 kilometer range lock depending on the size of the target, the KH-59. So I'm gonna try to use the KH-59, but you will see that the 29 maybe it's a better option. It's just that the 59 It's a slower missile, so it's a bit more complicated, okay? But yeah, let's get to some action. And now let's try to do this, guys. I gotta say, the BRs that you face in this thing is pretty insane. It's gonna be basically an up tier every single match, okay? So you gotta be careful. We do have a Mamba there, so this is going to be kind of hard to do without a pod, but we're gonna try. And we're gonna try to see. You don't have any type of guided stuff, so we're gonna just try to launch. Oh, turn. And we're gonna fly low. So we fired a missile. Hopefully it doesn't... Their missiles don't hit me. Ooh, we need to fly low. Missile evasion, okay. And as you can see, the KH-59 is going for it, right? But he has a lot of drift on its actual, like, inertial navigation, so you just gotta be really careful. I gotta say, seriously, like, without a pod, without thermals, it's not the best thing ever because of the BRs that you're gonna be facing. I mean, if you had just normal BRs that you're gonna be facing, I mean, look at how hard it is going to be to find targets from this far away, right? Is that a target? I think I see something right there, right? I think that is a target. I'm gonna fire on this target over here. Oh. Oh, here's another one. So with these ranges, you cannot really properly aim the target to the target, right? But we're gonna try. So I'm just doing kind of long range here. I wouldn't have advised to do this, but now we can try to get closer to see if we can actually get a proper lock. I don't know, the drift of these missiles are just really bad. Let's see if we can turn. Yeah, look where the missile is going, man. So, I don't know. I have a feeling that it's not the best thing ever, right? So let's try to find a target over here. So this is a proper launch. Fly very low to the ground. I think he died. Where's my KH-59s going? So, I don't know. I have a feeling that I'm just kind of being scared. I'm just putting to the test over here the actual, like, limits of the KH-59. I don't know. I feel like the KH-59 is not really a good option. The INS is just kind of bad. But I don't know. Maybe you can make it work. There you go. You have targets over here. Oh, there was no missile near me. That is interesting. But yeah, basically, as you saw, the KH-59 not really worth it. Maybe it's just the missile is going. I got a kill there, but the missile is just going away. That's the weird part. So if you are careful, guys, the KH-29s are going to be probably the best. The KH-59 is just not really worth it. I would try to use something like these, for example. Just a lot of them and nothing else, okay? Because as you saw, the missile just goes to other places. You gotta get a lock, like a proper lock. And with that in mind, isn't it just better to use the KH-29 already? You know, once I use the KH-29, I got a kill, right? Even though I died, but you get the point, right? So get the KH-29, you use it, and it's gonna be fine. And you have like 6 kills if you know what you're doing. Because obviously I never know, but yeah. So basically these are it, guys. This is the SU-30MK2. It is a pretty good aircraft. It is a very medium aircraft if you're accustomed to close to top tier Russian aircraft. It's a very okay aircraft. But as a premium, it becomes a really, really good one because you can use it in air battles, you can use it in ground battles, and it becomes a very, very good high tier premium. Okay? So let me know in the comments what you think about it. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye. See ya.